question to you then is, what is your epistemology?
What is my epistemology? I guess
Yeah, like give an epistemological framework.
I guess I pretty much consider myself an empiricist. I don't like obsess over this kind of thing. I don't like sit around and dwell and be like, can I actually even justify my very own existence? Because I don't really care about that kind of thing very much. I just care about results.
Okay. You're a science person. Is there any scientific theory that is mainstream that you don't believe in?
I can't think of one off the top of my head, I guess. I remember when I was younger, I just flat out did not believe in special relativity because I but that's just because I was really ignorant. I was just like, you mean to tell me that if I like go somewhere else and cuz like the deal with special relativity is like if you had a twin, there's the twin paradox. If they were on a spaceship going like close to the speed of light and they came back, you'd be much older than your identical twin is. And I remember like very specifically just being like, you mean like cellular activity just slows to a halt and like blah 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 blah. Like I wasn't understanding like the the that the way the time dilation actually occurs. And I don't necessarily understand it. Like I can't do equations on it still to this day, but like I know it's been experimentally verified, so like I kind of grew out of my just dismissal of it and realized that my dismissal was like really, I mean, it was predicated on me appealing to my own common sense as a person who is ignorant. And science makes fools of us all in that way. I talk to people, I think the earth is 6,000 years old, so lots of examples of that.
I noticed you wrote a book. What's the main like of your book?
You cut out a little bit. You said, what's the main blank of my book?
What? Yeah, what's the main like thesis, like topic of your book?
So it's like, it's not a chapter book. It is, I've been doing these online debates for years, and it's a collection of, I think there's 91 of the most common things I've heard over those years, and then the responses to them. So part one is on evolution, part two is the Big Bang, part three is science, part four is young Earth creationism, and then part five is flat Earth. So it doesn't read like a chapter book. You can start in the middle or the back. You can read it backwards or inside out or cover to cover, front to back. Because it doesn't tell a story. So it's a different kind of book. But I
Okay.
guess I would call it
Uh,
a science book. Technically, I guess.
uh, trying to find like a point of contention where we can like, I guess, debate or whatever. But so I guess my follow-up question then is like, are you voting this November? And if so, who?
I probably won't. Um, no, I just cannot. I think that Biden has been the best president in since I've been alive. And I don't think it's even remotely close because of what he's done with um, labor participation has gone up, although he did do some pretty unforgivable stuff with the railroads. Um, his stuff on antitrust with Lena Khan, that has been all the fucking bullshit that con artist Donald Trump talked about draining the swamp and like helping regular people. He did absolutely nothing about it. What Joe Biden has done has actually had materialistic benefits for ordinary people. Um, pretty disgusting how we weren't able to hold on to child tax credits and any other stuff while increasing our military budget by probably more than what would have been necessary to sustain programs like that. But there have been a number of other things like that. The bringing back it's something called like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, something like that. Trump got rid of it, and it basically goes after like predatory lending and credit. Well, I don't know about lending, but it goes after like fee like hidden fees and like interest
Yeah.
rate stuff with credit cards. It's given back billions of dollars to people, and it's not even a very old program. Trump got rid of it. Biden brought it back. Um, the infrastructure stuff I think is great, but his just unwillingness to condemn what is happening in Gaza, I can't support him. I won't do it. And there's Donald Trump is he's going to sell us out to Saudi Arabia, and whoever else has money because he's just a piece of shit. And honestly, I liked what RFK was doing and saying way better than anybody else. Arguably, maybe Marianne Williamson, apart from her, but he also, and I don't like his anti-vax stuff, but I don't think it's that big of an issue. But I think he would just be a sycophant for the Israel lobby too. So I just can't find anybody worthy of it. I would say Marianne is probably deserving of it, but it's the old, I know it's not going to matter. And so, which
Okay,
I
well,
acknowledge is a shitty attitude, but whatever.
in my desperation to like find a topic to disagree with you on, my last question is going to be: have you considered communism, and if so, what's your opinion about it?
No, I've never considered it. I don't have a high opinion of it, because I don't think that. How do I say this? So there's always the argument where people say like, name one time that communism has ever worked, and I do find that argument to be a little bit annoying and kind of stupid, because nothing about communism says you should have a despotic dictator like Stalin or Kim Jong-un or whatever, or Pol Pot or whatever. But it does kind of seem to be what happened like almost every time. And so like, I don't think capitalism is inherently evil or inherently flawed, because I think I think the system we have, combining like our free market philosophy with our political philosophy, I think the means to correct for that exist within the system. I think that the progress is too slow, unfortunately, but I still think that we're doing just about as good as we can do. Yeah. So like, for example, I think that this is like more of, and when does it stop being, or when does it turn into Marxism versus communism or whatever? It's like, I think that like, I agree with the idea that workers should not necessarily own the means of production, but they should reap more of the benefits of it, because what does a shareholder do? What do they contribute? Nothing. I mean, I get that you can argue that it helps like the economy grow and whatever. But I think that what these rich people like that do, what they do is they hoard wealth. And I'm sitting here always just thinking like, what's worse for the economy than hoarding wealth? Because you're not participating. And like, obviously they're rich and they spend money, like, and they employ people, like, duh. But if more of that money was redistributed, because people are spending all the money they have and still can't really afford to have families or take care of themselves, or if they are able to do that, they're doing it not well. And you can look at the fact that we're just very unhealthy, for example, and our credit card debt is skyrocketing. So that money going to those people would go into the economy because they have to spend it. And I find the arguments that would just lead to runaway inflation to be just kind of silly. Like, that could happen, but I don't see that actually happening. But however, I don't think we need to be communists to do that, because, in this country, like, not very long ago, like when I was born, you could get a degree working part-time. You could be a household where only one person works, and you could have a home and a family and it worked. And I think a lot of that is because labor participation was really high and a lot of regulations were laxed and a lot of incentives for people to, again, hoard as much wealth as possible were set up. But because our system wasn't doing that at first, or well, not at first, but like, in sort of like the middle part of the 20th century, I think we can get back to that under the system that we currently have.
Okay. My last question is, okay, this will just be my last question. Do you think that we should end the Federal Reserve and turn the private bank into a public bank?
I have no opinion because when people talk about this, I tend to like nod in agreement and be like, that makes sense what they're saying. But I couldn't even begin to form a sentence right now to defend it one way or the other because it's way too over my head. Sorry.
Okay, well, that's fine. I very much appreciate the conversation. I have no point of contention, so I'll let the other people attempt their. I'm sure other people have been riled up, so thank you for answering my questions.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you're welcome.